Hi, I'm Bianca and I'm going to show you how to make vegetable bolognese. So the ingredients we're going to use, we're going to start with a sofrito mix, which is onion, carrot and celery. Vegetable wise, you can add what vegetables you like. I'm adding pepper, aubergine and mushrooms, but you can buy those mixes in the supermarkets in the freezer section, which are Mediterranean vegetables already chopped and part cooked. You could use those instead of that. To that I'm going to add bay leaves, some tomato puree, a tin of tomatoes and some red wine, which is optional. You don't need to add that if you prefer not to include it. So to start with, we're going to just peel the onion and the carrots. I'm going to start by chopping the onion into a fine dice. So I'm going to cut the carrot to the same size as the onion, and I'll do the same with the celery as well. You can actually buy sofrito mixes which have already been chopped up in the supermarkets, but it is obviously a lot more expensive than just doing it yourself. I've just washed the celery and I'm going to cut those into slices and then chop them widthways so they're the same size as the carrot and the onion. So with the rest of the veg, I've just washed and dried them, and I'm just going to chop my pepper into a small dice. Aubergine, I'm just going to top and tail, and then chop these into slices. It's quite important to have a really sharp knife, otherwise it actually makes it more dangerous and you're more likely to cut yourself with a blunt knife. Okay, and then if you cut it into strips and then into dice. The mushrooms, you don't want to wash them because they become waterlogged. You just want to wipe off any obvious bits of dirt. They're actually quite clean, so I don't need to do much with those. And then we're going to chop these up into a small dice as well. So slices first, and then across, and little chunks. So I've put a large saucepan on a medium heat. I'm just going to add some oil and let that heat up. And then we're going to add the sofrito. So we're just going to cook this sofrito down until the onions become see-through. So as you can see, the sofrito is looking transparent. So I'm going to add the rest of the vegetables and let them cook down for 5 minutes or so. So just give the vegetables a good stir around. The pan looks quite full at the moment, but vegetables are mostly water, so a lot of this will just cook out. So we're frying the veg for about 5 minutes. While that's doing, I'm going to add some salt and pepper. Just stirred the seasoning in, and I'm going to add some wine. Again, this is optional. You don't need to add this if you don't want to. You can skip straight to the tomatoes. So if you cook out the wine, it basically burns off the alcohol, so you just get the wine flavour without the alcoholic content, so it's fine for children. So that's been cooking for a couple of minutes. I'm now going to add the chopped tomatoes, and I'm going to swill the can out with a little bit of water. Just get all those lovely juices out of the can. And to that, I'm going to add the bay leaves and the tomato puree, about a tablespoon, to give it all a good stir. And then we're going to bring it up to the boil, and we're going to let it simmer, and you can let it simmer for hours and hours. So that's now simmering, and I'm going to put a lid on and just keep checking it every half hour or so just to make sure it's not sticking. So the sauce has been cooking for about 5 or 6 hours, and it's looking really nice now. You can take that off. I'm going to put it in the fridge and use it for lasagna tomorrow, but you can use it as a sauce for pasta, or you could put it in the freezer for another day.